Not too bad. I was curious of your take on the waning magnetosphere messing with our weather. Kind of like by the whatever the sun cycles we're in that change every 12 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, so we are going, all the evidence points towards us going towards a grand solar minimum. And then we have what's the regular solar minimum, solar maximum cycle, which is typically 11 years, but it could be 11 to 13 years. And right now we are coming out of the solar minimum and headed towards a solar maximum, which should occur right at 2025. And then it's going to dip again. Now, during a solar minimum, and even so that we're on a grand track of the sun getting weaker and weaker, that's basically the output of the sun powers our ionosphere. Our ionosphere is like the shields on the Starship Enterprise. If the shields are not powered up, then more galactic cosmic rays can reach deeper into the atmosphere. Okay, so the requirement for creating clouds and rain is some sort of seed, whether it be an aerosol, speck of dust, mold, pollen, viruses, bacteria. There are many different types of cloud seed, water vapor, and then some sort of ionizing radiation or static electricity to make the water stick to the seed. Now, the galactic cosmic rays are energy from space. And as our ionosphere weakens, more GCR can come in, which means that we should have more cloudy conditions, more rain, bigger hurricanes, all of that sort of, kind of like what's going on. Now, of course, you'll never hear this in the mainstream media. They'll blame it all on climate change, which is their way of saying because CO2, because greenhouse gases. Yeah. But greenhouse gases have nothing to do with what the sun is doing. No matter how big our heads are, no matter how important we think we are, sun gonna do what sun gonna do, right?
Right.
So this is interestingly enough, it's
kind of tilted too now, right? Because like the North Pole or the magnetic north is kind of moving.
And there has been a series of pole reversals documented through the history of the planet. Whether that's going to occur within our lifetimes, when
I mean, it's just changing. I don't think it's going to resist.
Well, I mean, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear meltdown had a 9.0 earthquake, which actually threw the Earth off axis by like a degree or two.
No kidding.
So yeah, things are it actually changed the axis of the Earth. That earthquake was so large. There are many factors. This is why I keep going back to the point that when climate change scientists plug their information into their models and say the temperature of the planet's going to be blah 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 in so many years, and that's going to lead to this, that, and the other. You mean to tell me they're accounting for grand solar minimums? Unknown unknowns is the key word of the day. We know what we know. We think we know what we do not know, but we cannot account for unknown unknowns. So an example would be, let's say they do geoengineer. Let's say they get away with it. They legalize it. They're geoengineering the whole damn planet. And then volcanoes go off. And then
it changes the whole ball of wax.
Yeah. Suddenly now we've got, well, you're cooling the planet. The sun's cooling down. And fuck, we had 5 huge volcanoes going off. Suddenly it's looking like the movie Snowpiercer, and we're in a freaking ice age. Would that be man-made climate change? I think so.
Tonga that went off. That was like,
Tonga.
It was like had 10 nuclear bombs or some shit.
Bro, you brought up
100 of
Tonga.
them.
I'm gonna go there. I was saving this, but I'll go ahead and just bring it up on the screen. You guys will love this. Tonga
That was
eruption blasted unprecedented amount of water into the stratosphere. August 2nd,
Right, 'cause it was
2022.
underwater. Yeah, that one. I've seen that. Yeah.
Because it was an underwater eruption. It blew a massive amount of water into the stratosphere. Does any scientist willing to go on record to say we know how that affects the climate? They don't, because they have no freaking clue. And these are the kinds of things that you cannot predict. You don't know when it's going to happen. But the equivalent of 58,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of water went into the stratosphere when that eruption occurred.
Yeah, but boom, that was whatever, a few months back, right?
Yeah, that's a hell of a water balloon, right?
That's the one that I think is messing with the weather globally right now more than anything else. I mean, I understand there's so much more, but Mother Nature, how you doing?
Yeah, well, the interesting part about it is most people tend to associate solar activity, specifically sunspots, with earthquakes. But I found a really interesting website, and I'm going to bring it up real quick. It's called JupitersDance.com.
Jupiter does it, huh? Wow.
Well, no, it's just something it's unrelated, but I'll make the point real quickly. And you can see this on the screen. I'll drop it in chat for everybody. In addition to the link for that Tonga eruption, I have a folder that I keep all my latest news that I never make videos out of because I just don't have enough time, dude. If I had a steady income, then I'd be making a video, 2 and 3 videos a day with the amount of shit that gets sent my way. But regardless,
I follow this guy, Magnetic Reversal News, and he's also got the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. He's a
I know who you're talking about.
Geologist. He's a smart son of a bitch. You and him would get along real well.
Well, I also suggest that people watch Adapt 2030. If you never heard of him, his name is David Devine. Adapt 2030 on YouTube.
Oh, I've seen that guy.
He's pretty amazing as well. But basically, the Jupiter's Dance website pretty much shows the exact opposite of what most people assume. So whenever there is a lack of sunspots, when the sun is weakest, is when we get the largest earthquakes and volcanic eruptions on the planet. Now, this is interesting because and I'll find this real quick. Transfer events. We just recently found out about what's called flux transfer events. And science literally had no clue what these are, but basically there is, and I can show you a picture right here on the screen. It's almost like spaghetti noodles of a vortex where energy comes out of the North Pole, goes back to the North Pole of the sun, comes out the South Pole of the sun, and returns to Earth in the South Pole of the Earth. So there's this.
Kind of looks like them. What do you call them? Old cave paintings when they do that stuff in the rocks, like they actually saw it happen, right?
Yeah. So basically, these spaghetti noodles of vortexes of energy are a circuit, a Birkeland current circuit between the Earth and the sun. So to make a complicated point very simple, right now the disk is clear. The sun has almost no sunspots. Is it surprising that we would have a major eruption? The reason why is because when there are sunspots and massive CMEs coming from the Earth, coming from the sun, the Earth is receiving energy. When there is a lack of sunspots and the sun is in recession, the earth is giving it back. And as that energy erupts from the core of the planet, from the magnetic field lines out and bursts into space, that's when you get massive earthquakes and volcanic eruptions.
Cool.
Most people don't see it that way. That's what the current science is showing. I ain't suspicious observer. I don't talk about the sun every day, but
it's a little bizarre.
I am a nerd and I do follow these things, but flux transfer events are a relatively new phenomenon. They just found out about this, I believe, in 2018. So this is a new one. It's going to be interesting. Science is always evolving, dude.
Yeah, and that's totally cool. I get it just from, remember the old days when somebody would drive by with their car and your TV would jump all over the place because they had non-resistor plugs or whatever, or hot magneto in their car.
I got it bad enough.
Like the same.
I got it bad enough from the truckers going down the highway with, I'm in South Carolina, so we redneck boys would get on the CB radio, and my homeboy, he had a Texas Star 1000 watt amp for his freaking CB. For those who don't know,
illegal, right?
Yeah, for those who don't know, the FCC says 4 watts is the maximum you can transmit. We hooked his CB radio up to 1,000 watt amp, a Texas Star 1000 watt amp. And he was talking over everybody in the state, North Carolina and Georgia. And we were at the McDonald's. He keys up the CB radio and the antenna is literally like dragging the light fixtures overhead because it's got a big whip antenna. Dude, he keyed that thing up and the computer monitors in the McDonald's all flickered out black.
Wow, what a trip. I remember that skip plan. The guys would just stomp over everybody. Yeah. And they had that southern drawl stuff going on.
Town hall crunch. That's what we would do all the time. You hear some truckers having a conversation. You're like, shut up. You cannot talk anymore. I own your channel. And drunk and trolling everybody on the interwaves. Great call, brother, man. You got anything else?
No, that was great. That brings back funny memories. 10-4. I got to go take a 10-100. KPN, Barracuda. KPN,
Roger that. Over and out.
KPN 8481.
Good one, brother. You be safe, dude.
Have a good day.
Great question, man. Thanks for bringing it up. Oh, that's funny, man. Well, we covered the ionosphere. Who knew? Love it. Love a good conversation like that. South Carolina, you close to Charleston? That place has weird tunnels and an eerie vibe. Charleston has a very interesting history. In the Bay of Charleston is Fort Sumter, named after General Thomas Sumter, which is where we defeated the British. Basically, the walls of Fort Sumter were made out of the palm tree, the palmetto tree, our state tree. And it turns out that palm trees are very spongy and the cannonballs could not penetrate the walls of Fort Sumter. And General Thomas Sumter is where I live. Sumter, South Carolina is his namesake, and General Thomas Sumter's house and his burial site is in Sumter, South Carolina. We're actually located closer to the center of South Carolina. We're about 45 minutes from Columbia and about 2 hours away from Charleston. So I can go 2 hours to Charleston or 2 hours to Myrtle Beach or 2 hours to Charlotte, North Carolina, about 4 or 5 to Atlanta. That's why I went to all the Grateful Dead and Fish and Widespread Panic concerts when I was a kid, because they were all nearby. Everything's nearby. And Sumter's a slogan, uncommon patriotism. You better believe it, baby. All right, let's see if we can make it through this 5-minute video, because I'm wanting to actually see if there's a point here.
Operations have been ongoing for over 75 years. Extensive testing conducted by geoengineeringwatch.org, both on the ground and in the air, have confirmed that at minimum, highly toxic climate engineering elements like aluminum, barium, strontium, manganese, polymer fibers, surfactants, and more are being dispersed by climate engineering aircraft in disguise all over the world.
All right, that's absolute, utter bullshit. Because as we showed earlier, and I'll bring the picture back up. Is that it? That's it right there. I already showed you. Dane, this was in his documentary, The Dimming, that he flew a Cessna and then he got a different plane and he flew a little higher and he went into the clouds and they tested. By the way, they were only testing at the micron level. And for those who don't know their sizes, microns much bigger, meaning conglomerations like many particles. It would take millions of nanoparticles to make a micron. So just saying, they don't have the equipment necessary to test for nanoparticles. They were scanning things at the micron level, so they were actually looking at soot deposits that had metals in them. But as I've already shown you, and all of the references are on ClimateViewer.com/Cirrus Clouds Matter, where you can see the actual reports that were already out there before Dane, flew up into the clouds, that the jet fuel contains these metals, that they have tested all of this many times and admit, even in the IPCC report, that these metals come out of planes because it's in the jet fuel. Not secret programs, not secret freaking pipes and pumps, in the fucking jet fuel. But whatever. So he put on a show. They went and flew up into a cloud, and he wants to take credit for proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that there are metals in them clouds. I mean, I've been talking about that for the better part of 10 years and naming the scientists who actually said it and the military who admits to it. So with their names and addresses on it and their phone numbers and their email addresses, you can contact these people. Ulrich Schumann will be glad to have a conversation with you about this.
Geoengineeringwatch.org has now identified science studies that examine and promote the element of graphene for use as an artificial ice nucleation element. Processes of artificial ice nucleation for weather modification have long since been a primary.
I also have numerous patents for the same thing. This does not mean there have been no detections so far of graphene in the air coming from planes. I agree. There are many different studies on everything using graphene for everything from freaking, medicine to computer chips to jet fuel additives to weather control. Graphene is a new thing. They want to use it for everything. The thing that's going to make the biggest impact on the world is in batteries. Damn, when we get graphene batteries, this world is going to change overnight. You have no idea what kind of impact that'll have. But continue.
A component of the ongoing climate engineering operations, though even now, very few are aware of this aspect of climate engineering operations.
That's because nobody's done it yet, dude. Nobody's actually gone out and used graphene to do a weather modification project yet. I would know. I mean, the second that, because the people who do these weather modification experiments, they love to brag. They love to brag. The first time they actually go up and spray graphene, you're going to hear it on this channel, because all of my alarms are going to go off and say, hey, these peer-reviewed journals just went out today, and these people are bragging about using graphene to do weather control, blah, 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 blah. And then it'll also be in, all the mainstream media rags within like 2 or 3 days afterwards, because that's what inevitably happens. Have you not watched any of my Tuesday news days? Anyway, please continue.
The patent shown is referred to as the Nolenberg Patent. It outlines one method of artificial ice nucleation for weather modification. Translated, seeding cloud moisture with toxic ice nucleating elements in order to create a surface cool down.
He's talking about cloud seeding. What the hell? This is publication date 1971. Let's see that 3671. Where I gotta go? Let me bring this over here so I can actually find it. All right, and then let's go and find that. Right there it is. 361-3992A. 361-3992A. Okay, there it is. All right, so let's move on over. Finnegan, that's the one. Grab that up. And boom. Now we're on the same page. So let's take a look at what old Dane's looking at. A pyrotechnic formulation for use in weather modification comprising a fuel. What? And an oxidizer in a mixture of metal iodate and alkali iodate. Upon combustion, metal iodide and alkali iodide are generated as mixtures and complexes which show ice nuclei activity from -5 to -20 degrees Celsius, depending on the molar range of the metal iodide and alkali iodide. Okay. So this is actually another example of putting some shit in the jet fuel, comprising a fuel and an oxidizer, a additive in jet fuel, not in a pipe, not in a pump. Thanks for pointing this out, Dane. Let's see what you got to say about it.
Such winter weather whiplash events are generally highly sensationalized by corporate media. The climate engineering
That's
factor
it. It
is
just moved
caused
on.
by corporate cool down.
Let's do this again.
For one method of the patent shown is referred to as the Nolenberg Patent. It outlines one method of artificial ice nucleation for weather modification. Translated, seeding cloud moisture with toxic ice nucleating elements in order to create a surface cool down.
Am I missing something here? I mean, bruh, I don't even know what to say at this point. I mean, like, he's totally just misstating what this is actually about. And used by or for the government of the United States of America for governmental purposes without the payment of any royalties thereof. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's jet fuel, bro. That's a fuel additive. I'm just really surprised to see this. 361-3992A. Which is up here. And that is the actual original. That's not right. That's not right. It's just not right. Something is wrong here. We will get to the bottom of this. I promise. Do your research, Jim. What just happened? I grabbed the wrong one. Boy, don't I feel sheepish. I knew something was up. All right, there we go. Nolenberg. The present invention provides a method for producing rain and snow from natural atmospheric clouds using seeding agents characterized by high solubility in water and large endothermic heat solution in water. Typical examples of materials suitable for use in practicing the invention are urea, potassium nitrate, nitrite, okay, ammonium nitrite. Laboratory experiments have shown that urea to be effective in producing ice crystals in the vapor cloud. Now, this is also something that's pretty commonly known. I've talked about this. This actually is cloud seeding. But if you come here to the weather modification timeline, and I'm going to sit back on this, and then we go to the weather modification, actually just put in Reporting Act of 1972. You can actually see the files that they fill out. So this is what they look like. And when you look at it, what you see is interim activity and final report. This is what I was wanting to show you guys earlier. And wouldn't you know it, right here on the side, type and amount of cloud seeding agents used: silver iodide, carbon dioxide, urea. Maskey, I wish Dane would go more hands-on with his audience, but then everybody would find out he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's the reason we're doing all this right now. So this is a patent for using urea, which is on the NOAA Form 17-4A, which is the interim activity reports and final reports required by Public Law 92205, which was started by the Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972. And on that form, it says silver iodide, carbon dioxide, urea. The patent he is talking about says right there, practicing this invention are urea. Okay? This is just another in a series of current assignee, the National Science Foundation. This is not new news. Hell, this is 1966. Do you know how many different forms of cloud seeding they've come off? Yeah, they literally are pissing on you. That is exactly what I'm saying. Urea is pee-pee. Come on, people. You don't know this? Urea is pee-pee. Urea serves as an important role for metabolism of nitrogen-containing compounds by animals and is the main nitrogen-containing substance in urine. In mammals, it's urea. It's pee-pee juice. Yes. It's on the fucking thing right there. This is a NOAA document to report weather modification activities in America, and right there, type and amount of agent used. Piss. Urea. Sodium chloride, and then the my favorite category, other. Just other. Pews. Yeah, you're cracking me up. All right, back to this thing. We've made it almost halfway. I need to shut up and actually get through this. But I swear, everything he says, just I immediately take offense and I go, bro, really? Why did you show
weather
that?
whiplash events are generally highly sensationalized by corporate media.
I do agree that corporate media sensationalizes all crazy weather events.
The climate engineering factor is, of course, never mentioned.
The climate engineering factor is, of course, never mentioned. That's an implication. This is the definition of fear porn. Make a statement, put a picture on screen, make an inference without ever saying it. Phytotoxicity of graphene family nanoparticles and its mechanisms. So he goes and he basically says, bro, here's a patent about cloud seeding with urea, doesn't know what urea is, or he had mentioned that they're literally pissing on you, which I think is funny and sad at the same time, but at least understand what you're showing on the screen. And he says,
whiplash events are generally highly sensationalized by corporate media.
agreed.
The climate engineering factor is, of course, never mentioned.
The increasing release of graphene family nanoparticles is
Begin this critical question.
in the ecosystem is one of the key environmental problems that humanity is facing. So yeah, graphene in the air would be a big deal and a big problem. The problem is prove that that's coming out of a plane. We're halfway through this shit, and you're saying secret government programs are spraying graphene out of planes, that's what's going on. This shit literally makes my head want to explode.
Question: is graphene oxide being used as one of the many highly toxic climate engineering elements that have already been identified?
Is it? I want to know.
By seeding cloud moisture with artificial and chemical ice nucleating elements, the weather makers trigger an endothermic or energy absorbing reaction and thus are able to engineer extensive and often extreme surface cooldowns.
Thought on that real quick. Thought on that. He's talking about the endothermic reaction as a result of cloud seeding. He's not saying cloud seeding. He's what was the words he used? Because I got to translate all the bullshit he says. It's only
that have
5
already
minutes.
been identified. By seeding cloud moisture with artificial and chemical ice nucleating elements, the weather makers trigger an endothermic or energy absorbing reaction.
The weather makers trigger. Okay. So I'm gonna take you down a trip down memory lane real quick. There, go to my tweet tour. Where's my tweet tour? Oh hell. Oh hell. I'm just going to go to connect.climateviewer.com and I'm going to go down to my Twitter and I'm going to go here. And on my Twitter, you will see this. This picture is a quote from Irving Langmuir. And what does it say? Rainmaking, Bernard Vonnegut, Vincent Schaefer, and Irving Langmuir invented cloud seeding. Okay? So this is from a long time ago, but this is about the truth on the endothermic reactions of the weather makers, not the fucking planes you're seeing, not the clouds you're seeing, but actual cloud seeding. Rainmaking or other weather control can be as powerful a war weapon as the atom bomb, a Nobel Prize winning physicist said today. Dr. Irving Langmuir, pioneer in rainmaking, said the government should seize on the phenomenon of weather control as it did on the atomic energy when Albert Einstein told the late President Roosevelt in 1939 of the potential power of an atom-splitting weapon. In the amount of energy liberated, the effect of 30 milligrams of silver iodide under optimum conditions equals that of one atomic bomb. Right there. And this is a video from quite a while ago. This is an article that I wrote in 2013. But yes, there is an endothermic reaction. And according to Dr. Irving Langmuir, the amount of energy liberated, the effect of 30 milligrams, now imagine how small that is, of cloud seeding material, silver iodide, under optimum conditions equals that of an atomic bomb. I'll drop you the link in chat. You can watch it yourself. Links, and more links. We has them. That's a human engineering thing.
And thus are able to engineer extensive and often extreme surface cooldowns. This is often in spite of previously far above freezing temperatures in the surrounding region. Weather whiplash swings of temperatures are the results. There are numerous and increasing recorded scenarios of record high temperatures to record low in a single day. This is not nature. It is the result of chemical ice nucleating operations.
It was also found that in after 9/11, when they grounded all flights, that this was called the diurnal temperature range. That whenever it's cloudy at night, it stayed warmer, and that whenever we had cloud-free nights, it got colder. Therefore, the secret government climate engineering programs that he keeps referencing, the clouds in the sky that are coming out of the plains, they actually affect the temperature range on a day-to-day basis. This is on weathermodificationhistory.com on the timeline. And if you go to artificial clouds, you'll see it, but it's right here. September 11th, air groundings, contrails affect daily temperature range. Link in chat. Lots of homework, people. Lots of homework. We got that stuff. But you can actually see that down here. And tons of references on this. David Travis and my interview with Dr. Rangasai, health authority from the FAA. Ulrich Lohmann and Blas Gasparini, a Cirrus Cloud Climate Dial. Yeah. See, they don't go around calling it secret government program. They call it a Cirrus Cloud Climate Dial, as you can see here. Cirrus Cloud seeding may help to reduce climate warming, but large uncertainties remain. So lots of references for the things that I claim. And, you know, beautiful article by Dominic Marama here. Thank you, Storm Fury 101. Briefly empty skies offer climate clues. You should go over there and look at it. It's pretty interesting stuff. And, you know, some stuff from the Weather Channel and all this stuff about, you know, how these clouds, these different cirrus clouds, affect the climate. It's kind of like that, but we won't get into all that right now. Maybe we will after the video. I want to actually get through this video because I got other stuff I need to do today, and you probably do too. But this is hella interesting. I'm so glad y'all tuned me into this. I'm still waiting for proof that graphene's coming out of planes.
The climate engineers have consistently utilized artificial ice nucleation operations seeded into cloud moisture to create surface cooldowns, while ionosphere heater microwave transmissions from facilities like HAARP in Alaska continue to fry other regions under artificially created domes of atmospheric high pressure.
Okay. Absolute 100% bullshit right there. Absolute provable 100% bullshit right there. So HAARP was sold from the U.S. Air Force Research Lab and the United States Naval Research Lab to the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Chris Fallon was the previous director of HAARP. I talked to him personally on a cell phone multiple times now. If you don't believe me, because some people probably don't, they're like, bullshit, you talked to Chris Fallon on HAARP. What that is Chris Fallon on my WhatsApp. And he's going to be off deployment in a week or two, and hopefully I'm going to get to actually interview him in person, which would be fucking amazing. But regardless, Chris said that basically it costs about $500,000 per hour to operate HAARP. HAARP is actually only 3/4 of the array is operational now. It isn't operating at the same power that it was when the military owned it because they can't afford to fix it up yet. They're renting HAARP out by the hour to, you know, whoever bids on it. You can go to any ham radio operator or web SDR, that's software defined radio, web SDR, and you can listen to 2.8 to 10 megahertz and tell when HARP is on. HARP is never on. It is almost never on. If it's on, even during one of their last, big, there's something about a man called, I hope it's something good, because I can't help it. I mean, this is an absolute fucking lie. To imply that HARP is somehow, he's gone from graphene is going to kill you. It's coming from the secret government programs of those people to cloud seeding with PP, but doesn't mention the urea or nitrites and, any of that stuff. And then segues to, oh yeah, graphene's scary and toxic. It is. We know this. And now he's to diurnal temperature range, but doesn't know what that means, and saying that HARP is the reason for it when HARP is never on. This is the kind of shit that people buy. I mean, 94,000 fucking views. I mean, I should just start scaring the hell out of people and lying. I could make a good living and I wouldn't have to go get a job tomorrow. That'd be great. But you know what? Somebody's got to be willing to say the truth. I mean, at the end of the day, somebody's got to be willing to say the truth. And you can scare the hell out of somebody by putting together a nice little fear porn piece, less than 5 minutes worth of effort, and just scare the shit out of people with complete lies and make a buttload of money on it. But that's the state of our culture.
The sold out so-called science community has now condoned the use of graphene oxide as an artificial ice nucleation element without consideration of the consequences to human health and the entire web of life. We are literally under assault from above. The ramifications are grave and immediate. Not only are the planet's protective atmospheric layers and life support systems being completely compromised, every breath we take contains an ever-increasing amount of highly toxic elements that are extremely bioavailable and bioaccumulative.
I agree with that. That's why I put together this infographic to show you what those metals are coming out of the plains. It is bad that all of these are accumulating in the atmosphere. But it's not helping anybody do anything about it when you keep saying that it's all a secret government program and we don't know who the hell is doing it, where the hell it's coming from. And by the way, there's polymers and graphene and morgellons and nanobots and HARPs involved, and it's all a depopulation. Oh my God.
If nanoparticulates of graphene oxide are in fact already being used for artificial ice nucleation operations, what's to stop the controllers from utilizing the graphene particles for biological carrier platforms as well?
If graphene is being used to do weather control, his video is called, now I'm gonna take this back to, I think his name was Bob, who started this shit. The video is called Graphene Skies ? I'm at 4 minutes into this. This is when you should be banging home your point. You got 5 minutes. We're at 4:14. 5:16 is the end of the video. By now, he should have proven his case. And at 4 minutes in, he goes, if they're using graphene oxide, link here. Just watch his stupid shit. I don't care. This is the height of speculation and fear porn. That is what this is. Speculation and fear porn. Also known as FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Would you want to know how I know this? Because I'm pretty intimately familiar with it. And I wrote a whole section about people who bullshit people. It's on ClimateViewer.com. /propaganda. And you'll see it right here, because fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Now, why is this important? Because it is FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That is how you control people. That is how politicians control people. That is how the mainstream media control people. That's how advertisers control people. That's how Dane Wigington gets so much attention, by using fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Bruh.
Answer: nothing. At any point of their choosing, the controllers can wage all-out biological warfare against populations via the existing climate intervention atmospheric aerosol spraying operations. Though we face countless challenges and threats, we must first focus on priorities. If we can't inhale without sucking in highly toxic nanoparticles, we face a fight for life, nothing less.
I agree with that. That's why we should act on what we know. And what we know, link to the chart of your ingredients, please. I could throw that up somewhere. Actually, it's, if you go to my YouTube here, I'll go to my YouTube real quick. Hold on. My channel, and then go right here. There's a playlist called Cirrus Clouds Matter. And in it is right here, metal trails and jet exhaust. Okay, there is the chart. I will send you the link to the entire playlist, which is right here. Here is the link to that, and it is Cirrus Clouds Matter playlist. Specifically, this video, which is 24 minutes long. And I will go a step further and take you to the Cirrus Clouds Matter page that tells you all this already. And I'll show you exactly where on the page the references are, because this stuff matters to me. And that's, by the way, a tweet from Chris Fallon agreeing with me. I got into an argument with Paul Fox from Paul Delgado from Fox News weather, that sounding rockets are chemtrails from space. And Chris, said, with apologies to Paul Fox, who is doing his best here under the current circumstances, here are some pictures of trimethyl aluminum trails from sounding rockets launched from the Poker Flat Research Range north of the University of Alaska Fairbanks. In other words, legitimate chemtrail science. Now, I know that I personally had something to do with Chris using the word chemtrail and backing me up on this, but it's pretty funny nonetheless. Tweet still there? Tweet's still there. Kind of funny. But yeah, it was a hell of a thread going on there. And this was in response to, can I actually see the thread? We're getting sidetracked, but anyway. Good stuff. Good stuff. So if you go down here, I have a Cirrus Cloud fact. Frequently asked questions, and it tells you everything. How language controls the chemtrail debate. What makes a cirrus cloud? You click on that, you can actually see, how they say sulfate aerosols create nucleation mode and coat soot particles. That fuel sulfur is responsible for rapid and volatile particulate matter formation in the plume. This is directly from the U.S. Air Force Research Phillips Laboratory. But I have other, aerosol cloud interactions is one of the main uncertainties in climate research. This is Ulrich Lohmann again, the one who was talking about cirrus cloud seeding. Anyway, carbon black self-levitating cloud seeding. Are cirrus clouds a bad thing? Yes. They create a Venus effect by trapping heat. Just click on these. They pop down. What are they doing about cirrus clouds? Are cirrus clouds melting the poles? According to these, yes, they are melting the poles. Not greenhouse gases, clouds. But anyway, are cirrus clouds filled with metals? And this is the question of the day. This is what his damn video is about. Answer, true. IPCC report says aluminum, titanium, chromium, iron, nickel, and barium are estimated to be present in parts per billion by volume level at nozzle exit planes. And then they cite two 1975 reports, which I thought was fucking ridiculous. Okay? I'm going to drop chat just for a second so you can actually see this. So I thought that was fucking ridiculous, so I wanted to dig further. So that's when I came into these studies. Physical and chemical characterization of non-volatile aircraft engine exhaust. What is this? This is right here. And I bring that up, and I'll bring this up. Let's see if we can get them to load real quick. Chemical characterization of freshly emitted particulate matter from aircraft exhaust using single particle mass spectrometry. And this is from Ulrich Lohmann, Institute of Atmospheric and Climate Science, ETH Zurich, Switzerland. This is an entire team from Switzerland. And they have, all this stuff is right here. First particulate matter aircraft exhaust measurements using single particle mass spectrometry. That can measure nanoparticles. Okay? The majority of the investigated particles contain one or more metallic compounds. The metals and the soot were found to be internally mixed and emitted particles, meaning the metals are in the soot. The soot acts as a cloud condensation nuclei. It is why planes make clouds, and they have for back to the 40s all the way to the present. All the fear porn you could stack up won't change that. And this is from the Wayback Machine because this got deleted. This is also from ETH, Switzerland. And again, Ulrich Lohmann and Ulrich Schumann, two top researchers on this topic on the planet. I've read almost everything they've ever written. So much so that I debated Mick West, the chemtrail debunker, and that didn't work out too well for him. But soot particles formed by incomplete combustion of hydrocarbon fuels affect the global radiation budget directly due to their strong light-absorbing nature and indirectly by interacting with clouds as cloud condensation nuclei and ice nucleating particles. Now, you hear Dane saying ice nucleating particles all the time, and he'll never tell you that it's soot. It's fucking carbon black dust, aka soot, or black carbon. All of these are synonymous. It's right there in the actual, where are we at? Back here. So anyway, from that paper, the detected metallic compounds were all internally mixed with soot particles. The most abundant metals in the exhaust were chromium, iron, molybdenum, calcium, Na. Why am I having a brain fart? It's sodium, right? Na? Sodium? Yeah, Na, sodium. Ha! Nailed it! Bitches, know your science. Anyway, so they listed all the things, and I gathered a list of all the things that they had, and I put them into this infographic I created. Because I made it. I'm a graphics artist. In addition to be a web designer, in addition to being a much better researcher. Abundant chromium, iron, molybdenum, sodium, calcium, and aluminum also detected vanadium, barium, cobalt, copper, nickel, lead, magnesium, manganese, silicon, titanium, and zirconium. And then this, straight from the military, trace element and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon analysis of jet engine fuels, Jet A, JP5, and JP8. And this is why I tell everybody JP8 is a big problem. This is a link to the old dtse.mil. It's now like apps.dtse. What I'll have to do is actually grab this number and look that up that way, because it's not going to get it otherwise, because they've changed. dtse.mil changed their whole thing up. So anyway, here it is, straight from the Defense Technical Information Center. Shaboom. And you can see that from that I pulled this, because I digs hard. JP5 is the gasoline, and JP8 is the kerosene that they switched to. This also coincides with the first time the word chemtrails was ever used. And as you can see here, when they were using JP5, 5,000 parts per billion, and when they switched to JP8 in 1996, they finished the conversion, which is called the single fuel concept. Calcium in the atmosphere coming from planes shot up to 31,120 parts per billion, aka, for people like Dane who cannot do their math, that's 31 parts per million. 31 parts per million. Aluminum went from 2,100 to 9,300 parts per billion. Iron, 210 to 1,100. Magnesium, 1,000 to 5,800. The list goes on. Strontium went from 70 to 351 parts per billion. Titanium went from 35 to 1,056 parts per billion. So was there a massive increase in metal particulates coming out of military planes flying JPA jet fuel, which started in 1996, which happens to be the first article on the internet was written in 1997 that used the word chemtrails, was talking about JP8 jet fuel. Riddle me this. So all of these are on there, in addition to talking about aluminum nanoparticles and all of that. As you can see here, I've got other stuff on here. Spray visualization and alternative aviation turbine fuel embedded with metallic nanoparticles. Nanoparticles increase biofuel performance, and they literally say Jatropha biodiesel, a fuel derived from the crushed seeds of the Jatropha plant, water, a surfactant, and then blended with different proportions of alumina nanoparticles. So yeah, all of this in the jet fuel, all of this referenced. You can see where it came from, bro.
The entire
Let's
web of
finish
life
it.
and the planet's life support systems face the same threat. Reaching a critical mass of awareness is the only way forward in this fight. See the activist.
I agree. Reaching a critical mass of awareness around the amounts of metals in jet fuel, and ends to the speculation about the secret government programs, the secret this and the secret that, and are they spraying graphene? If they were making fear porn bullshit videos, I cannot believe I had to sit through this. You got to see how fucking triggered I am right now. But this needs to happen. I mean, this is why I have not done a what? Man, are y'all on that long a delay? Come on, Diane. Yes, Na equals sodium. I know this. I was having a brain fart because I have too many thoughts going on right now. I'm triggered. Straight triggered.
This suggestions link on the homepage of geoengineeringwatch.org to learn specific details on how to help in this urgent effort to sound the alarm. Share credible data from a credible source.
Share credible data from a credible source. Go to weathermodificationhistory.com. Go to climateviewer.com. and see all of the maps of all of the weather modification projects and where the cloud seeding generators are on climateviewer.org. That is the most credible information you're going to find anywhere on the internet. I will put my balls on that. I will put my reputation on that. I will have any scientist criticize it. I will debate any scientist or politician on this topic because I know what I know. I know what I don't know. And I certainly have counted for the unknown unknowns because all this could change within a moment. When there is evidence that graphene is currently in jet fuel or being sprayed from planes used for weather modification, I will know because they cannot shut up. They can't shut up. So,
make your voice heard, make every day count. This is Dane Wigington with geoengineeringwatch.org.
All right, well, we got through that one. So that being said, you sons of bitches made me watch a 5-minute fear porn piece from Dane Wigington on this Sunday fun day. You have ruined my Sunday fun day. Now I'm gonna have to make up for this by I'm gonna need to go outside first. Get radiated. And you people should be ashamed of yourself bringing up Dane around here like that. And if he tries to copyright claim this, I'll make a video about that too, because he's notorious for that. He is notorious for copyright claiming anybody that criticizes him. I criticize you, Dane. I think that your video is full of fear porn, speculation, and bullshit. Has no pragmatic solutions. And everything that you claim to have found out, you found out on my website, bruh. Be real. We know. You took my patent list and you put it on your website. I ain't gonna let that go. When Dane Wigington goes on Alex Jones' podcast, video, show, whatever, and Alex is like, "That's Dane, this list of patents, this is amazing. How did you ever put this together?" And he's like, "Well, I worked real hard on it." You stole my patent list, Dane. Took it right from my website and then went on Alex Jones and lied and said you did it. You stole an article from Dutch Sense. It is at the top of your page. You took Dutch Sense's name off of it. Okay, that's enough about Dane Wigington. Well, everybody, I hope that you found this informative. I hope that you enjoyed me. How the fuck did I get muted? That's not... How did I get muted? I mean, like, I didn't touch my mute button. When I touched my mute button, and somehow it just got muted. Anyway. Well, I appreciate you all in chat. It has been a hell of a journey reading the chat while he mentioned Alex and YouTube muted him. So I was saying, thank you for the reminder. Dane is the chemtrail Alex Jones. And though Alex has been right about some things, he shouts real loud, likes to be scary. And hey, that may be entertainment for a lot of you. Maybe I'm not entertaining enough. Maybe I should be scarier. Hell, I'd probably make a lot of money. I'd like to have 100,000 views on my videos, but that hasn't happened in a long fucking time. And that's why tomorrow I'm going to get a jobby job. But that doesn't mean that I will ever quit doing this. Whenever I can find the time to make videos, I will make videos. The more you guys support me through PayPal, Patreon, buy some merch, get a VPN, the longer I'll be able to continue keeping all this up. Right now, it's time for me to buckle down and go get a job. But still, when you have nothing to lose and you have all the facts on your side and you believe you're right, then you have no shame in criticizing others. And the day we all agree is the day we could all be wrong. So it's good that people who claim to be against geoengineering have differing opinions. I think that's perfectly fine. That's even helpful. If we all agreed, then we could all be wrong, and that would be a terrible place to be as well. So, like I said at the beginning of this, I encourage you to go to geoengineeringwatch.org. I encourage you to watch his videos. And I encourage you to, if something useful comes up in them, send it my way. But please do the same thing for my work. I've dedicated 14 years to creating 3 of the most fact-filled websites on these topics on the entire internet, bar none. And it is highly censored. My YouTube, my social media, and my websites are shadow banned, highly censored, and that's why I constantly am nervous that there isn't a future where I can grow. I highly doubt this channel will ever see 100,000 subscribers, let alone 1 million. First of all, I'm not talking about gossip or cats or any of that kind of shit. So it's just not likely. They're never going to let me on Joe Rogan. They don't allow truth like this to come out on big platforms. But that doesn't mean that I'll ever stop, because you know what? I have 2 daughters who are going to have kids, and this world is only going to get worse if good men do nothing to stop evil. And I do believe what's going on is evil. I mean, honestly, Diane, I doubt that Dane will listen to this. He will probably get many emails about that I criticized his video, and then he'll immediately... I'm not muted now. You're trolling me. I have sound. I see it. So if there's no sound now, it is YouTube. YouTube's already deleted my damn video, and I'm live. You watch. I would not be the least bit surprised. Let me go look, because this would be funny. The good news is I'm recording this right now locally. So even if this gets copyright strike, it's still going to end up on my Odyssey, my BitChute, and my Rumble, which you can find on connect.climateviewer.com. So be sure to go over there and subscribe to my Odyssey, my BitChute, my Rumble. Take your choice. If you're watching this on one of those later on, come over to my YouTube channel, because this is where the live section happens. Steve Rebelli, I gotta go drop some urea. Bro, you killing me. Y'all killing me, man. But yeah, I'm on all those things. This video will be mirrored almost immediately to Odyssey, shortly thereafter to BitChute, and Rumble sometimes takes like 2 days for it to finally get copied over there auto magically. But regardless, will Dane watch this? I don't know. I don't really care, honestly. It's not going to change him. It's not going to change me. We will always disagree. And that's why you are tuned in to Jim Lee. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been another fun Sunday Fun Day where we covered everything from past podcast to pissed clouds. Urea. The word for today is urea. They're pissing on you. You saw it here. You cannot unsee. That which is seen cannot be unseen. And this was hella fun. I look forward to another Sunday Fun Day chat with you on yonder week. Please use the information that I provided today to attack ideas, not people. And by that, I mean, I can call Dane a dumbass. That's not me attacking him, despite what you may think. I can say I disagree with him. I think that, he's, a fear porn peddler. I can say all those things. That's not me attacking Dane Wigington. That means I don't dislike him. I have the freedom of speech to explain that. And I am showing you the ideas and the language that he uses that I disagree with. However, I would never advocate the use of violence against anybody, no matter how vehemently I disagree with them, no matter if they are the ones running the secret government programs to do X, Y, and Z. Violence is a weapon of last resort and only to be used to prevent the loss of your or another, let's say your family member's life. Violence is the last resort. So when I say it, I mean it. Attack ideas, not people. Love you, mean it. You guys have a great Sunday, and I'll probably see you on a video this week. And check out the podcast. Let them know that I sent you. Have a wonderful day. If the video resonates with you, leave me a comment because I love hearing from you all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.